Right now, we're talking Class 4A sectional basketball, and with me right now, I have Geneva Vikings head coach Phil Ralston. They will take on Jefferson in the sectionals up at DeKalb. And first of all, Coach, congratulations. A very emotional win for you in the regional game to win the championship against St. Charles East, one of your rivals this year.
Yeah, they're one of our neighboring schools, and it's a traditional rivalry for us, so it was one heck of a game, and you're not. I wouldn't disagree with you. It was a very emotional win. I would say that St. Charles East is an exceptional school, and they really kind of pushed us to the limits to try to win that game.
Nate Navigato had a great second half. He ends up with 31 points. They held him to 4 in the first half. Did you make some adjustments at halftime to get him open a little bit more?
We did. One of the things that we saw that they were doing is they were really trying to blow up, East was trying to blow up our sets that we were trying to get Nate touches. And, we recognized that pretty much whenever he was seeing the ball, they would try to run a second guy at him, and so we told our guys, A, we needed to do a better job of setting screens off the ball, but B, we needed to be more aggressive and take advantage of numbers at the rim, and that was really our kids did an exceptional job. It's pretty much what we've been working on for the last month and a half. In trying to beat East, we knew that they were going to try to negate our size by trying to run extra guys at us, try to do some run and jump type defense. And, fortunately, with our size, we're able to throw over the top of a lot of that. And we found ourselves with a lot of 2-on-1s and 3-on-2 situations. And we were just able to overwhelm them that way. And the consequence of that is to try to take away those numbers going at the rim. They were helping off Nate, and that he's just not a guy that you want to leave open. He buried 3 threes there, third quarter, fourth quarter, and that really kind of blew open the game.
St. Charles East, you guys are rivals, you know each other, and I always say the more you know somebody, the better chance that either one of you can knock each other off, and I think that's what happened with you guys, wasn't it?
Well, it is, and we're pretty much two. I mean, they are an exceptional team, but they are in many ways a very different team from us. We have a lot more size than they do. They're more of a team that relies on the 3. We're a team and looks to try to push the tempo to get up and down the floor. We're kind of an equal opportunity team. Nate's a great scorer for us, but we have many other weapons besides Nate in the arsenal, and we can go inside and out. We do look to try to get the ball inside as much as we can. We feel that that gets us opportunities not just to score inside, but also get to the line. So we rely on all areas of the game, phases of the game for us to score.
You opened up against a very good DeKalb team. Your regional was loaded. We've had that situation in Rockford where we have like 3 or 4 teams from the same regional with 20 wins and things like that. I mean, it was almost one of those things where everybody you would have picked or would have been matched up against would have been a great game for you guys.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt on that. As it kind of turned out, you get when you saw the pairings back in December, we've been in that giant sectional complex in the past.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of our first experience into that foray of being in a true geographic regional, and so we've seen both sides of the story. And I think in some ways, us being in one of those giant sectionals helped us because last year we were a 6 seed in a 23-team sectional,
mm-hmm.
and we end up opening with Plainfield East at Plainfield East, who was a 21 team, won their league, and we're the 6th seed playing them first round on their home floor. And then, of course, our reward is to play a Bolingbrook team, which I would have contended was as good as any team in our sectional, could have gone downstate themselves had they gotten by us. And then we're rewarded again to play West Aurora at East Aurora. So, and then we finished off losing to Bennett, which was a close game until the fourth quarter. And then, Bennett's the team that ends up second in state. So, our kids have seen the path that it would take for us to make a move into a sectional final. They've been there, they've experienced that. So when we saw our regional, I agree with everyone that was in it, it was loaded. They have to play DeKalb, who by themselves, I mean, if things had been done differently, they probably could have played for a regional final. They might have won a regional final. Mm-hmm. And you look at East, and I know that Coach Woods and his team, in their own right, have a pretty good complaint going that being stuck in a geographic regional costs them the opportunity of having a regional championship. It is what it is. I've stopped, a long time ago. I think I stopped complaining about it. I don't. We just got to play our next game. That's all we can worry about. We can't worry about what we've been assigned to or what happens. It's just okay. This is what it is, and play our next game and survive in advance. That's kind of the nature of the business. But I guess I would say on this front, though, that the state really probably does need to examine how they run it. Run the state tournament. I believe we're the only state in the United States that has two different ways for them to figure out who makes it downstate. Yep. And so I think the people that are in the giant sectionals have a great complaint, and saying, I wish we were in a true geographic regional, and I think the teams that are in a true geographic regional have a great complaint about the people that are in the sectional. So whichever side you see it from, they both have valid points.
We talked about that being an emotional win against St. Charles East. Now you come up against Jefferson, kind of the quiet team in the Nick 10 up here in Rockford. And beyond them, maybe is a possible matchup with Auburn, depending on what they do with Larkin. Is it hard to get your kids to come down from that emotional win and then get ready for Jefferson and not think about Auburn, being the next step?
Yeah, well, as with any kind of a rival win like that, we told our guys, hey, you got 24 hours, to celebrate this one and cherish it and know that you had a great accomplishment, especially beating a team that's as great as St. Charles East. But we said after that, we got business to do. We got, if we're still alive in this thing, the goal is to try to win that next game. And I'll tell you, Coach Brandon does a great job at Jefferson. It's not like we're naive to their outstanding season so far. And we know that they got some really good athletes on that team, and we're going to have to play our best basketball to be able to survive.
And I hear you have a super scout down there at Geneva. Scott Henning did a good job scouting that St. Charles East game. How did he do when he took a look at Jefferson this week?
Well, we usually treat stuff, as a team. I'm very fortunate to have a great staff, and from all the way down to my freshman coaches all the way up, and that's pretty much what we were doing Saturday and Sunday. Just looking at film, working with teams that have seen them and played against them, and I think we're going to be ready for them. I mean, the thing is that Jefferson's, they have a lot of different things that they're able to do to attack you, and they're a good transition team. They got several kids that can shoot the three. We know that they love to attack gaps and try to get to the rim. They got guys that they send to the glass. Seems like at times there's 5 guys crashing the glass. So I mean, there's a lot of phases of their game in which we just got to come out and try to do the best we can to try to negate some of it.
You know, you look at the way the sectionals were set up this year and the super sectionals and everything. I know the first thing we saw in the Rockford area was that Stevenson was going somewhere else. That was one good thing that happened with all this kind of adjustment this year, don't you think?
Well, yeah. I would say arguably the two best teams I've seen all year are Simeon and Stevenson, and that doesn't necessarily guarantee that they get downstate. Stevenson's going to have their hands full with Lake Forest, but I think St. Rita might have something to say about getting down there too. But yeah, not having them come out this way, yeah, it probably gives a better shot. It's kind of strange. I'm not sure how the IHSA came up with that Barrington sectional. It's kind of a strange alignment. Typically the IHSA likes to keep Lake County teams together and have them battle it out with some fringe Cook County and McHenry County teams. But this is they split them in half and kind of sent them to two different areas, and so now Stevenson's kind of battling more north side schools, and now you have the western part of Lake County and the mid-suburban schools kind of duking it out for a spot. So, I certainly, we're not looking so far ahead. I mean, obviously we look ahead and try to make sure that we're prepared in our scouts, but, really our focus is just trying to worry about getting through Wednesday night.
The other part of the bracket, you're really familiar with Elgin, Larkin, and then Auburn, and it's really a good sectional when you look at all four teams, and then there's different aspects of it. You guys are really tall. Auburn has trouble with that once in a while, so there's some good possible matchups for everybody in this sectional.
Yeah, I'll say this. When you get to this level into the sectional of 4A basketball, there are no bad teams. You're going up against exceptional teams that have proven themselves to win good games against good teams. And so we know Larkin knocked us off at their place. They got a 6-point win on us, on their home floor. We'd beaten them earlier by 12 at our place. They're very comparable to us in the sense that they got some size inside. They have some kids that can shoot from the outside as well. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens between them and Auburn. We've seen Auburn a few times ourselves, and they have some exceptional quickness that we just don't have many teams that are. I mean, East is probably the closest. St. Charles East is probably the closest team that I've seen to them. But they crash glass. They have 3-4 guys that can shoot threes. They press and trap all over the floor. I mean, that Auburn team is just so exceptionally quick and aggressive. They present a lot of challenges, but Larkin, the thing about them is they don't back down. They play hard. They play smart. They're very aggressive defensively. I think it's going to be a good game tomorrow night between those two.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for taking time. I know you have a busy schedule. Last year you were one game away from going to that super sectional. I know the goal is to get to the super sectional and maybe down to state. So good luck to you guys, and thanks for taking time today.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
We've been talking to the Geneva basketball coach Phil Ralston. They will take on Jefferson at the DeKalb sectional. For the StatelineSportsHub.com, I'm Dave Schmidt.